Welcome to the penalty box.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the penalty box. I am so excited to have you here. So much stuff if you can't hear me smiling, I am just so excited to share all of this with you guys. So much has happened since we last talked. This is like our first intro portion that I actually have something to talk about. So first of all, we hit 20,000 on Instagram. I literally saw it happen. Coolest thing ever. I could never imagine, like, when I hit 3,000 followers on this account, I was over the moon, and I literally got like 5 likes, and the fact that we're at 20,000 is incredible. I am in awe. That's the first thing. The second thing is the podcast is doing amazing. Like, I still cannot believe that people listen to me and look forward to it. Like, that's incredible. So thank you. I love you. And the third thing is, like, the actual big thing is we got invited to the first ever PWHL playoffs. And I can't even, like, I'm blushing and I'm stuttering because I am just so genuinely excited and shaken that we got this opportunity, because this is just, like, this is a big deal. Maybe I'm overreacting, but, like, this is a really historical moment that I can't wait to tell my kids about. And the fact that we not only got to experience it, but be invited and go from, like, a media point of view is incredible. And there's so much tea that I have to talk to you about oh my, I can't even talk. Like, I'm not even gonna fix it because this is just, like, my genuine excitement. But pretty much we were able to go, and we had some boots on the ground coverage, people going around the arena, handing out friendship bracelets, handing out penalty box stickers, and we even had our creative director, Delaney. She got to meet a hockey player. What was her name? Madison something. And she gave her a bracelet. I promise I know her. She has pink hair. It's just, I am so all over the place, and I've been holding this in and waiting to tell you guys for a couple days, so I'm all over the place. I'm so excited. It was amazing, from the media box to the actual game to the fact that Boston won. It was a really, really, really great night, and we were over the moon that we got invited to an online Zoom media interview with the PWHL, and then to actually be invited to the game is just insane, and especially as young women in sports and just young women in general. Like, I don't know if you guys know how old I am. I'm 21. Team ranges from, like, 8. Like, we have people of all ages on our team. So just being women, we are an all-women team. So having that is just incredible. And especially since a lot of media is, like, full of men. Even at the game, in the media box, it was a lot of men from everyone I spoke to, which is fine. But, like, it's just very cool that we were able to kind of have this experience, and hopefully more women in hockey and sports can have similar experiences in the future, because it was an amazing experience. 10 out of 10. Thank you to the PWHL genuinely for making our dreams come true. Like, maybe I'm just overreacting. I'm so sorry, but it's just very, very cool to actually see your dreams come true. And what started as me talking about hockey in my bedroom all alone to who knows who even listened, like 2 people, to getting invited to the PWHL playoffs within, like, a year is crazy. It's crazy, and I'm so thankful because it's crazy. I'm sorry for the long intro. Normally they're very short, but I thought you guys would want to hear, because it genuinely, I'm just so thankful. I don't know what else to say. But let's move on to our playoff updates, because we are well into the playoffs at this point. So I'm going to give you your little playoff rundown. So the Dallas Stars currently lead the Colorado Avalanche 3-1. Unfortunately, the Florida Panthers lead the Boston Bruins 3-2. But Sorry, I gotta pop in. If you're new here, I am a Bruins. I'm so sorry, I'm a Bruins fan. But the Bruins had a season-saving win on Tuesday, which was incredible. And today, when you're listening to this, is the next game. So I am putting some good vibes into the air. I'm manifesting Bruins. Get it together. We need a win. Let's go. I don't know what else to say. I don't want to jinx anything. The Vancouver Canucks and the Edmonton Oilers are currently tied 2-2. Super stressful. I don't even know. I mean, I guess it's not the worst because you still have time. So I guess it's fine, but being tied is not always fun. Then we have the New York Rangers, and they are currently leading the Carolina Hurricanes 3-2, which means that the teams that have been eliminated so far are the Vegas Golden Knights, Winnipeg Jets, Tampa Bay Lightning, Toronto Maple Leafs, Nashville Predators, LA Kings, Washington Capitals, and then the New York Islanders. All right, we are going to go into our hockey hot topics for today, starting off with Natalie Spooner's injury, which makes me so sad. We don't like injuries in general, but it's upsetting. And for those of you who don't know, Natalie Spooner, she is actually the leading regular season scorer in the PWHL, which, if you did not know, is the Professional Women's Hockey League. And she plays for PWHL Toronto, which is one of my two favorite teams. So that makes me sad because she is good. But she got a knee injury in Game 3 against Minnesota and sadly will be out for the rest of the season. And according to CBC Sports, I have a quote here. Quote, Spooner took a hit from Minnesota forward Grace Zumwinkle in front of her team's bench during the third period of Toronto's 2-0 loss on Monday. She remained down on the ice for several seconds before crawling to the bench and needing help to get down the tunnel. There was no penalty on the play, end quote. This is really upsetting because she is very talented, and not having her is a very big loss to Toronto. I mean, in the past 24 games, she has 27 points, and she is just a huge part of the penalty kill. So it is a tough loss for Toronto. They are still an incredible team, and I have faith in them, and I think they're awesome. But of course, it's always sad to see somebody go. As a Devils fan, if you did not know, another team I love are the Devils. Having like Timo and Dougie and Jack and everybody get hurt, it's frustrating. It's very frustrating. Now we are going to move into the NHL a little bit and talk about Valeri Nichushkin's suspension. And this has been all over social media. I have seen it everywhere, and I thought we should discuss it today. So, about like an hour before the puck drop on Game 4 of the Avs and Stars game on Monday this week, it was announced that Nichushkin, from the Colorado Avalanche would be suspended for at least 6 months without pay. So NBC actually talked about this, and they wouldn't really give too many details on it, but I will quote what they said. They said, quote, Nichushkin was gone for nearly 2 months earlier this season to receive care from the NHLPA/NHL Players Assistance Program for issues that were not disclosed. This was on the heels of missing the final 5 games of a playoff loss last season for what the team explained as personal reasons, end quote. So, like I said, there's really not that much information. They are keeping things private, but this isn't really the first time that he has had issues like this where he has had to miss games. And their coach, I'm going to butcher all these names, I am so sorry, but their coach, Jared Bednar, I believe, he refuses to use this suspension as an excuse for the team's loss. And he actually said, quote, we're not going to use that as an excuse. We can't, we won't. Again, we treat it just like Logan O'Connor. Injured, done for the year. You get news like that all the time. You continue to play with the players that you have, and we have the ability to play a heck of a lot better than we did today, regardless of any news, end quote. And I completely agree. Again, as a Devils fan, I feel like somebody needs to just say that to them, because the second Jack Hughes is not there, it feels like everything's crumbling down when we know they are incredible as hell. Sorry. I'm laughing so hard because, so this is the first episode where I did not write my own notes today. So every other episode that you've listened to, I write pages and pages of notes. But this week I wanted to give the podcast team a little challenge. Shout out to my amazing team, Rachel and Emma. I love you ladies. They are incredible. And their notes for the next topic, the title literally says, Mia, you can do this, even though he's on the Rangers, with exclamation points. And I just think that's so funny because it takes strength because I do not like this man, but I am a bigger person, unlike this man. I just think it's so funny. I didn't expect that there. All right. It's that Jacob Trouba won the 2024 Mark Messier NHL Leadership Award. Sorry. Okay, if you don't know why I'm like laughing and giggling and gagging and dying, it's because Jacob Trouba is the Rangers captain, and he is just respectfully not a person that I like respectfully on the ice, respectfully, because he is very aggressive and very physical and not, I'll just say in my opinion, like he just does not have the skills to back up his aggression. And listen, I'm not saying he's a bad player at all. I'm just saying he has no reason to be such a dick. Pardon my French. But, like, he just is not, on the ice at least. I don't know how he is, like, in real life. I know the ice is real, but I don't know how he is off the ice. But from what I've seen, and I've spoken about all these different instances on the pod, if you know, you know. You can go back and listen. But I'm just not a fan. But anyway, that is not the point. I am so sorry. I'm taking away from this. Whew. So he won. Good job. Congratulations. He actually has been a good guy in the New York area, apparently. It's said that he works with the Rangers youth hockey camp, which has like ages, I think it's like 6 to 12 on and off the ice for training sessions. So he does that. And him and his wife, they did found the Trouba Creative Expressions art programs. And that offers art services to adults with epilepsy and seizures and stuff like that, which is honestly very great. I gotta give it to them. That's very great. Now let's have this Jacob Trouba on the ice. How about that? Anyway, he also works with the Garden of Dreams Foundation, and what they do is they bring opportunities to young people that are facing illnesses, financial challenges, or dealing with like the death or injury of a family member in uniform. So, Jacob Trouba, I don't know how many times I will ever say this in my life, but congratulations. You do seem like a leader, and continue the great work. I'm the first person to like recognize when something is due, when credit is due, and you do deserve credit for this. So congratulations, and let's move on to the next hot topic, which is not the best topic and not a topic I want to talk about at all. So if you did not know, I have actually made 2 episodes about this topic. One I privated, and then the second one I actually remade. It's titled The Kyle Beach Case, I believe that's what I titled it. And I really highly encourage you to go listen to it, to not only educate yourself, but just kind of to hear this man's story. He came out and he was so brave, sharing his experience and his trauma with the world. And I think it's important that we talk about it and try to prevent it from happening in the future. So that episode is called The Kyle Beach Case. And if you did not know, it is a SA case. He was allegedly SA'd by a former videographer, or like he was like a video editor or something for the Blackhawks. And there was this whole thing that went down, and I covered it all in that episode. I highly recommend listening to it, but that is a big, big thing in the Blackhawks world. A lot of people know about it, and this week actually, and last week, a mutual of mine and the penalty boxes on Instagram, his name is Anthony, he came out exposing the Blackhawks, not for SA, but for just a really toxic work environment. And then, right after that, another Blackhawks SA/harassment case came out. Which, I'm just going to say, when I am talking about the Blackhawks, I'm trying to very carefully pick my words. By the way, that's why I'm like kind of talking funny, because this is a very serious conversation. But when I talk about the Blackhawks being like a bad team, a toxic team, I'm not talking about freaking Connor Bedard on his little ice skates. I'm talking about the people that knew about SA or a toxic work environment or contributed to that and are getting away with it, because that's not okay. It's not cool. And the fact that it's just so common for that team and for that specific organization, it is obviously a sign. Like, obviously something's wrong there. But anyway, ABC News said, quote, "A consultant the Chicago Blackhawks hired to improve relationships with American Indian tribes has filed a lawsuit accusing the team, its charity foundation, and its CEO of fraud, breach of contract, and sexual harassment." End quote. Now, the woman accusing is named Nina Sanders, and she was hired back in 2020 because the Blackhawks were facing a lot of pressure to change their logo and their name, which, once again, we have discussed. I'm pretty sure in the Kyle Beach episode, but we have definitely discussed something along those lines. But the CEO, Dan Wirtz, I believe that's how you say his last name, he promised to create positions for American Indians, and he was gonna like buy this land to give to the Sac and Fox Nation, and he was gonna change the logo, but literally none of these claims allegedly were fulfilled. Now, this is really frustrating because I did mention this in past episodes. I literally said if you're going to be using something, you should be giving them something in return. And I gave the example for like how we are doing or how we did a merch line raising money for snow leopards because our mascot is the snow leopard. And we are working on a mental health line, which we are going to release. We were going to release this month, but we were a little slow, so we're going to release it probably in September during Suicide Prevention Month, and we're going to donate those funds as well. We are going to be doing something during Pride Month and donating that, because I've always said, like, my goal is to try to make a difference, genuinely, and not just, like, faking it, like, I want to make a difference. No, I want to actually make a difference, because stuff like this is not okay. People that are money hungry and power hungry create foundations like allegedly the Chicago Blackhawks team, and that's not okay. And anyway, sorry, that was a little tangent, but Miss Sanders, her name is Nina, she also claims, unfortunately, that she was sexually harassed by another employee, trigger warning, who tried to force her into a hotel room in 2021, and it continued until 2022. She allegedly told her supervisor, and nothing was done about it. The only statement that the team has released, as of this very moment when I'm recording this, is, quote, "The organization noted operational issues in Sanders' work, and external partners told the team they didn't want to work with her. The team still extended her a new contract in 2023, but Sanders chose not to renew it. The team said it investigated Sanders' sexual harassment allegations and couldn't find enough evidence to substantiate them." End quote. And that is from ABC News. So I want to say kudos to her because it's so scary standing up. Like, I cannot imagine, but I think if there's any time, it's now. I mean, Kyle Beach did it, and then Anthony did it, and now Nina's doing it, and I think the more people that actually call things out, the more change we can actually create. Do you know what I mean? That was pretty deep, and I'm sorry, but it's really important to talk about. I always say, and it's literally on our intern rules, that we report on all news, not just good news, because as much as I want to put on rose-colored glasses, we have to be real, we have to be honest, and pushing these things under the rug is not healthy for anybody, and it's just not right in general. The next topic we're going to talk about is how Carson Soucy hit Connor McDavid and actually got suspended for it. In Game 3 of the Oilers and Canucks series, Soucy actually shoved Connor McDavid, and he, in return, slashed Soucy in the leg. And this escalated with Soucy returning the slash to McDavid's leg and then eventually raising his stick to cross-check McDavid in the face. It's not funny. It's like actually not very nice at all. But then at the same time, McDavid was also cross-checked from behind by Canucks defenseman Nikita Zadorov, I believe that's how you say it. But he was fined $5,000, which is fucking crazy. And Soucy was suspended. And this is his second suspension since he was drafted back in 2013. And Connor McDavid, honestly, is pretty well spoken. I am shocked how well spoken a lot of these men are. Not all of them, but some of them actually. He said, quote, "It's a tough game. They've got big D-men. They make it hard on you. They play physical, a physical brand of hockey. It's fun to be a part of," end quote. So clearly Connor McDavid has no negativity, no hatred against anybody in this situation. Good for him. He knows it's part of the game. I get mad on behalf of my favorite hockey players, so I'm sure McDavid fans are angry on his behalf, and that is totally valid. Now, the last point we are going to talk about for our hockey hot topics is coaches that have been fired or retired so far this season. And let me tell you, there have been a lot. Most recently, as of May 9th, 2024, the Toronto Maple Leafs actually fired their coach, Sheldon Keefe, and this happened after he led their team to a first-round exit for the fourth time in under 5 years. So, I don't want to say any of these are, like, not granted, what's the word? Like, I'll be silent. I'll just give you the news and keep my opinion to myself. We talked about this in another episode, but the Buffalo Sabres did fire their coach, Don Granato, and they found a replacement, which leads us to our next coach, Lindy Ruff. He was with the New Jersey Devils and actually spent 61 games with them, but he left and was hired once again by the Buffalo Sabres, and he actually coached the Sabres for 15 seasons, and funnily enough, he was the last head coach to take them to the playoffs. The Seattle Kraken fired Dave Hakstol, I believe that's how you say it, on April 29th, 2024. He was the first ever head coach for the franchise, and granted, they are a fairly new-ish team, but that's a pretty historical thing, so wonder who's going to come in for him. Then the LA Kings fired Tom McClellan. The Ottawa Senators fired DJ Smith, and then they replaced him with Travis Green, who, as we spoke about earlier, replaced Lindy Ruff for the New Jersey Devils. It's a really big loop, a lot of overlapping, and I'm sorry, it's confusing. Next, the San Jose Sharks fired David Quinn. I'm still not done. The Winnipeg Jets coach, Rick Bowness, is that how you say it? He retired, and fans actually thought this was going to happen back in 2022, but he stayed 2 years extra and finished his career with the Jets. So that one is a retirement. So congratulations on your career, Rick. But, back to the St. Louis Blues, because they actually fired their coach, Craig Berube. I know I'm butchering these names. I'm so sorry. But a rumored pick for Toronto is the replacement, I believe. I don't know too much about that one, but that is what is going on this week in our Hockey Hot Topics. Now we are going to move on to Hockey 101, and today we are going to be talking about the unwritten rules of hockey. And these are kind of just little rules that you will see happen that aren't always exact rules. Like, you won't see these in a book. You won't read these in Hockey for Dummies 101, but they're just kind of things that players and fans know. If that makes sense? I hope that makes sense. We're going to start with hockey players have to ask to fight, which I feel like a lot of people got to talking about recently when Kachuk wanted to fight Pasta, and Pasta asked, the coach, but Kachuk didn't just come up and punch him in the face. He asked him. So I actually do like that a lot more. I think it would be so petty if they were just jumping each other, and I'm sure people would literally just, kill themselves. Not themselves, kill each other. Don't do that. That's just what would happen. But, so yeah, they have to ask to fight. Another unwritten rule is that they have to stop fighting when the fight hits the ice. And that is usually when the refs come in to break it up. This next point is not really a rule, but if you ask almost anybody in the PWHL or NHL, they'll probably agree. You don't touch the Stanley or the Walter Cup until you win it. And you don't touch... voice crack. I'm sorry. You don't touch the conference trophy at all, except when the captain is accepting it. So that is more of a superstition, but I think it's important to talk about. The next unwritten rule is that you stay on your side of the red lines during warm-ups, or you could start a pregame fight. And I haven't really seen this happen, but that is kind of the unwritten rule, I guess. Another one is you don't shoot high on the goalie during warm-ups, and this was started before goalies had masks, so it was just, dangerous. But now it's just an unwritten rule. This one is a big one, and I know my goalie girls and my goalies and goalie men and goalie everybody's out there know this, and it's that you do not mess with another team's goalie. You do not do that. You do not, punch them. You don't, spray the snow on them while he has the puck. You don't do that. That's effed up, and that will have the team members coming for you or teammates coming for you. And I think we actually posted a video of Jeremy Swayman and somebody else was, kind of squaring up to him. And then another member of the Bruins just came in and, was like, no, we're not doing that. And I love that. Next, we have don't turtle. And that means don't shrink back from a fight without throwing punches. And you can drag penalties out of the other team this way, but it's kind of thought of as, sneaky. Nobody really wants you to do it. It's just kind of like a cheaty little thing. Next is if your teammate has already scored twice, it's kind of just an unwritten rule to try to help him get that hat trick. So instead of hogging the puck, you kind of want to give him a chance, which I think is genuinely so sweet because it's you could just be nope, my turn, let me have a chance or whatever, but I think that's a cute thing. Now, the next one we're going to talk about, I genuinely hate so much. I think it's ridiculous. But it's the fact that people just know not to try during an all-star game. And I don't want to get canceled for this, but this genuinely makes me so upset because people are going out of their way and getting merch and getting excited and going on trips to get these tickets. And nobody actually tries during the All-Star game. Like, this is such a cool event, having all these players from different teams and different leagues and celebrities come together. Like, we want to see hockey. We want to see you play and work. Please, if anybody in the NHL is listening to this, please, guys, can we actually start trying? I would sell an arm and a leg to go to an All-Star game where it's an actual competition. That would be incredible. Another unwritten rule is that a lot of teams don't want you to step on their logo. And I'm talking about like the ones in the dressing room or the locker room or anywhere there. Now, I'm all for superstitions. Like, I am a superstitious girl, sorry. So I totally understand it. I would say it would get a little annoying if I'm like rushing around trying to get stuff on and like worrying about stepping on the logo. Like, I genuinely think that would stress me out, but I can't even blame them for it. So carry on, guys. I don't have to worry about stepping on it. Now, if you're new to hockey, you may not know this one. So chirping, which we've talked about in other episodes, is, you kind of make fun of someone, you can trash talk, keep it spicy, but you can't go for people's families. So if you see things trending online where a player is saying something about another player's mom or something, that's a big deal in the hockey world, because if you are making fun of people's families or like bringing them into it, you are kind of seen as just like a dick. And I completely agree. I feel like it's just something you should not do in general. I feel like that is just like, if you're arguing with someone, you're not going to bring their families into it. But I don't know, sometimes it gets really heated. So I think it's a pretty good unwritten rule. The last thing we're going to talk about is actually kind of cute to me. As an old prior athlete, whatever, I hated the handshake lines sometimes. Like, if it was a rough game, I wasn't a hockey player, by the way. I did literally every other sport you could freaking imagine, but not hockey. I did field hockey. But anyway, the handshake line, it's cute. It's nice. It's where the two teams at the end kind of line up and shake each other's hands, say something, hopefully a little nice, a little encouraging. And I think it shows sportsmanship. I think it is a sweet thing, and it kind of is a positive part of hockey culture, and I really like that teams do that. And I know it's not just for hockey. I know other sports do it too, but I like that hockey does do it. Thank you guys so much for tuning in every week. It means the world to me. I still cannot believe this is real. Like, I am on cloud 9, and this is only the beginning. And if you're listening to this part, I want to let you know we are opening up our intern applications very soon. When playoffs end, we are going to be opening them up and bringing on a bunch of new roles, from TikTok creators to content writers to graphic designers to a LinkedIn team. We are going to be bringing a bunch of new people onto the team. So we are so excited for that. But until then, stick with us, keep watching our content, keep supporting us. It genuinely means the world to me. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I'll see you next week in the penalty box. Bye, guys.
Thanks for tuning into the Penalty Box podcast. Don't forget to connect with us on social media by searching for the Penalty Box. Also, make sure you hit that follow button on Spotify. And if you enjoyed the show, leave us a 5-star review. Until next time, see you in the Penalty Box.